Hello everyone, my name is Blaine, this is my YouTube channel, Underpaid Dev, and today I will be going over a project I'm currently working on. It's not even an alpha, it's really early in the development stage, and I just wanted to go over it and perhaps, get some insight. Okay, so this project is called Project Basilisk, and I'm going to be introducing it by introducing some knowledge about Python and EEL and about NIM and how it works, and how Project Basilisk will affect the future of desktop applications. Okay, let's move on. Introduction. Who am I? My name is Blaine. I am a mid-level full-stack developer. I'm currently freelancing on Upwork. I've got a client right now. I am doing some recurring work, I guess, at $35 an hour. Feels pretty nice. Some of my hobbies include coding. I like Python, C++ for, my game developing, NIM for Project Basilisk, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript because I normally use Python and Python's Flask, and HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for my freelancing. I love to read. I have quite a few books here at home. My favorite series would definitely be the Pathfinder Choose Your Own Adventure books. They are really cool. I'm not going to use the word were, because they still are. I love to play video games, Outward, Far Cry, Valorant, Skyrim, Fortnite, PUBG, Apex, GTA. I could go down the list. I really love video games. I love to read, love to code, and hopefully my future will consist of just all of those. So let's just jump right in. So the whole Project Basilisk, it's about developing a wonderful full desktop application while also obfuscating your code and providing a very wonderful user experience. So my experience developing GUIs in Python. Number 0. Tkinter was way too complicated and it looked too old and bulky. If you've ever seen Python and writing desktop applications in Python with Tkinter, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a lot for just a little bit of work. It's a lot of work and you see only a little bit of the profits of that work. And it's just too big and bulky for developing useful graphical user interfaces. Kivy, I attempted to write my own application in Kivy, and it was pretty fun, but at the same time, it was too bulky for what I wanted to do. There's too much to do, and it wasn't providing the correct experience for anyone that was trying to use my web app, or my app specifically. So a question I've often asked myself is, how can I use my experience with front-end development on the web here in Python? Developing GUIs. What are GUIs? So GUI is a graphical user interface. It is a visual way of interacting with a computer using items such as windows, icons, and menus. It's used by most operating systems, like, for instance, I'm on Windows 10. Windows 10, the layout of Windows 10, that is a GUI. Why do we need GUIs? The essence of the answer is in recognition versus recall. Most people will be attracted to GUIs because they are cognitively easier to use. Command line interfaces force you to memorize and recall commands in order to do anything. Even conjure up a help menu or a list of commands, you must know what to type. And I got that from an article. I will be linking this slideshow in the description, as well as my Upwork and portfolio if you guys want to go check those out. So examples of GUIs: the GNOME shell, KDE Plasma, which I have installed on my Ubuntu laptop, Unity, Mate, and all the other GUIs here. This isn't a complete list at all. There's plenty of GUIs out there that you can look to and see examples for yourself. All it takes is a quick Google search. So Project Basilisk is a browser-based desktop application, and let me go into what that is. So what is a browser-based desktop application? Put simply, a browser-based desktop application supplies HTML, CSS, JavaScript straight to the user's browser. It'll open up in a new window and display all of your code. And Python has a third-party module called EEL, and EEL allows for seamless front-end to back-end communication. Okay, so let's quickly get into Visual Studio Code so I can show you guys what's up. So this is my EEL app. So this is all it is. You import EEL, you initialize it with the web folder. You can name this anything, but this is how you initialize EEL. This is how you start EEL, by giving it the first main HTML file. Again, this could be whatever you want to name it. I've got static files in here just for Bootstrap. And of course, this is my JavaScript. So the function sendData will take form input, send it to EEL, and then reset the form input, which is just a text input. So check is equal to true, so it will check on this function. So it is exposed to EEL, which will take this, the name of the function, and it's supplying this data to Python using JSON. And I'll show you how this all works in a second. And it's basically just appending the text that Python will send back. It'll take that and apply that to the HTML page, while also checking for a scroll bar on the right, just so that the footer will be perfectly displayed at the bottom of the page. Here, this is exposed to JavaScript, so JavaScript can call a Python function, which is the backend. It can call that directly from the front end, and it'll just be passing in the value of the user's input form, and Python will apply all this extra HTML to the string from the front end, and then it'll send it straight back to the front end. Okay, so I packaged this with PyInstaller, and PyInstaller takes forever to open. And so when I compiled this with PyInstaller, it effectively created a browser-based desktop application. So when I click app is my executable. Hopefully I don't have to do anything extra. So whenever I click app, what the executable is doing is it's extracting Python. Okay, so it loaded. So what it's doing is it's extracting Python and all of your files into a temporary folder and then running your code through the Python interpreter. So basically what that means is anytime you package something with PyInstaller, it'll package the entirety of the Python programming language into your executable. This is only 14,500 kilobytes, which is 14.5 megabytes, which is fairly small compared to, let's say, a browser-based desktop application, an EEL app with NumPy and pandas, something data science-y. But even with data science, you can display it on HTML just like this. Let me drag this over. So this is my app. Unfortunately, none of these really work. This is just to show you how it works. So I've got some form input here. So this will take anything you give it and submit it to Python. Python has received your message, and then there's the message. And then if we just keep doing this, you'll see that my footer jumps directly to the bottom, and it makes for seamless footer. So that's cool. I haven't done that before, but I'm pretty proud of myself. And again, so this is instantly going into the JavaScript, Yeah, let's pull this up and let's go over some of the code. Okay, so all this is HTML. This is the styles. Don't care about this bottom part. Okay, so if we go into the console, also doesn't matter. I've just got a whole bunch of weird little error codes here, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so this is my JavaScript. This is my JavaScript, but this right here is my HTML. And this is the EAL JavaScript. So I don't have any idea how it works now, other than the JavaScript is connecting to a WebSocket, and the WebSocket is sending JSON data back and forth from JavaScript to Python, to the Python server. So effectively, the EAL app is just a local server. And this is normally how the EAL apps start as well. So let's exit all this out because we are done here. Okay, so PyInstaller is pretty good, but it's not what should happen whenever you create an executable from your Python code. So let's go over PyInstaller's adverse effects on user experience. Your code isn't obfuscated whenever PyInstaller runs and extracts all the files. PyInstaller executable takes way too long to load. There is no loading animation when the executable is ran. So whenever we open it, of course we'll get the little circle icon by the mouse, but then that's all we get for quite a few seconds. So the executable works like this. It's clicked, it extracts all of the Python programming language, then it extracts your files, and then it runs your files. And all of this is happening in a temporary folder. When EAL is, or when the window is exited out of, EAL will send, or the JavaScript will send a kill command to the Python, and Python will stop running your app. And because it's PyInstaller, because it's a PyInstaller executable, what it's doing is it will delete all of the files out of the temporary folder, and that's basically it. And then whenever you click on it again, it extracts everything all over again, and that's how it runs. Yeah, so this can take anywhere from 5 to 30 seconds to launch, if not longer. I accidentally packaged NumPy in with one of my applications, and it was over 300 megabytes, and it took 40 seconds to open. It was ridiculous. It's too long for error messages. Like, the loading time is just way too long. It doesn't tell the user what's happening. It doesn't even tell the user that it's loading. And this just makes your users hate using your product. I currently work at a startup here in California, and I was using EAL to create an app for SEO testing, and we tried packaging it, and we were talking with the investors, and the investors they suggested that we definitely move away from EAL and from using PyInstaller, because it takes way too long. We can't even have a loading screen whenever we are trying to open it. It really takes down the user experience, even though it's very cool to have and it's very cool to use. I'll use EAL if I'm making just a script for someone else to run, like on their own computer. But I definitely don't want to package it and then sell it and then have people try to refund because it loads for 30 seconds without telling anyone. And this opens up the opportunity for the user to click on it multiple times because it's not loading, and then takes up all the RAM and can potentially crash the user's computer. And because of all this, I have a solution. This is Project Basilisk. This is the NIM port of EAL. And what is NIM? NIM is a statically typed compiled systems programming language. It combines successful concepts from mature languages like Python, Ada, and Modula. It also takes a lot from C. So this is nim code right here. Echo hello world. That's as simple as it gets. Print hello world. Oops, forgot the little parentheses there. This would not run at all if you try to run that, just because I'm missing the last parentheses. And this is C++. So if you don't know, C++ is a very powerful language, so is C. And this language you type it out like you would type Python, but what it does is it compiles to optimize C code, and then it gets compiled into a binary executable. And that just allows for extremely fast processing and super small files, because what gets compiled is only what's needed. It doesn't compile any bloat code whatsoever. Why nim? Nim executables are compiled with only what they need. They have zero bloat code, and it's obfuscated. You have your code protected, and it runs multiple times faster than Python. I will do a video on this later, just testing how long it takes for Python to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, and then comparing that for nim, comparing Celsius to Fahrenheit. Or converting, my bad. If you combine nim and Python's module eel, you will get Project Basilisk. So that's the entire point behind this, was to show you guys how eel works with Python, and then we are going to essentially port that over to nim. So it's as powerful, if not more powerful than C. And it has a huge potential into becoming probably the world's greatest programming language. Yeah, so right now it's called Project Basilisk, but yeah, in the end it'll just be called Basilisk. As you know, a basilisk can kill things with a single glance, but you can create an entire desktop application with a single glance, or a single line of code. I don't know, it's going to be really simple. So, Project Basilisk, about it. Project Basilisk will offer the user to create desktop applications that use the already installed browser. It'll support Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and Firefox. So in my eel code, if we open this up again, so eel right now, I can specify right here which browser that eel will use, and it will use it. By default, it uses Google Chrome, because everyone has Google Chrome, and it just makes the most sense. So whenever I load my app.exe, my app executable, it runs the Python code, because it gets extracted into Python. It gets extracted into a temporary folder, and then it gets ran, and it takes like 30 seconds. So all my code will be loaded on Google Chrome, and it gets relatively fast. But it can be fast. It can be faster. Goddamn. File size won't be a problem, as nim compiles only what is needed. It's very optimized. Communication between front end and back end will be seamless. As you've seen, my code communicates directly from JavaScript to Python. So what will happen is in Project Basilisk is it will communicate directly from JavaScript to nim, which runs multiple times faster than Python. And on top of that, your code will be obfuscated, so no one else can steal your ideas. It takes away the need for like license key verification, or not license key verification. It just takes care of the need of like wanting to protect your code. We were trying to package our eel app with CryptoLens, and that got really confusing. So what happened is at the beginning of our eel code, we literally, or I built my own, what's it called? I built my own licensing server from scratch, and I uploaded it straight to Linode. Sorry, I keep getting brain farts. And yeah, the eel app just takes way too long, and if the license key verification doesn't work, it'll just shut the app off, and that'll make PyInstaller delete the files. And that was the point behind it, was so that no one can see our unprotected code. But now our code is protected in NIM. Why will Project Basilisk change the future of desktop applications? Project Basilisk will create a lightweight executable. You can, with NIM and NIM only, you can literally compile it on one machine and run it anywhere. You just have to specify which machine you want to create the executable for. Like, for example, on Mac OS, I can specify that I want to compile it to Windows, and then compile it and then send it straight to a Windows machine, and it'll work. It uses an already installed browser, so this is a GUI, and every user will have their own browser. I mean, even Windows 10 comes pre-installed with Microsoft Edge, and it will fall back to that if Google Chrome isn't there. And I'm aiming for support. I'm aiming to support Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and Mozilla Firefox, since those are the top 3 browsers. Yeah, so you guys already know that it communicates seamlessly between front end and back end. It's just mind-blowingly fast. It's easier to develop websites than full-fledged desktop applications. So with Project Basilisk, I'm aiming to take the ease of access of learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and I'm allowing that creativity and that knowledge to be used on a low-level language like NIM. And potentially, Project Basilisk will support React. And if you know what React is a super fast front-end framework that allows seamless communication between its pages and the back end as well. But Project Basilisk will support React in a way that no one else has, and we can create a desktop executable with React. So a lightweight desktop executable with seamless interaction between the pages and seamless interaction to the back end. And the back end is literally the user's computer, so we can potentially have it do whatever we want it to do, from machine learning and displaying the results of the machine learning to data science and displaying numbers and data. It can do basically anything, and that is the main idea of Project Basilisk. Release date. So right now Project Basilisk doesn't have a release date, but I aim to complete this by the end of the year. This is going to be a huge project for me, probably my biggest project ever, and I'm really excited to show you guys Project Basilisk. I'm really excited to show you guys how to use it as well. I'll be making videos on how to use NIM and how to use my Project Basilisk for whenever the time comes of release. So that would be pretty cool. Alright guys, and that was the end of the presentation. I hope you enjoyed yourself. This was a rather long presentation. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know down in the comments section, or you can email me at blaine.lysak@gmail.com. You can also contact me. I am available for hire on Upwork. I will have that in the description as well. Please leave a like. That helps with the YouTube algorithm. So that's cool. And yeah, you guys have a wonderful day, evening, night, and I will see you all next time. Peace.